people now are using credit cards and this. Why would they need to switch?
Right.
And you talked about the benefit about being in another country, the currency not being worth anything, or or bringing it into the country. Talk about that a little bit. I think that'll help explain.
So there's the few ways to think about value, right, for people and being able to maintain their own net worth, right? Like actually, because we're not all in America. There's some people that are in some very poor situations around the world.
Right.
And a lot of times what you'll see, and I'll give some examples, is you'll have a war-torn area, okay? You'll have people who are refugees and needing to leave, right? They leave with the clothes on their back, right? And whatever goods or things that they have to have value, right? And when they are doing this logistics process of trying to exit at a border, obviously the border is usually controlled by the group that's trying to suppress, right? So you get to that border, and all of a sudden, the gold piece of something from grandma, or just whatever it might be, can easily be identified and confiscated. Right, and then boom, it's over.
Like trying to take $10,000.
And there's no courtroom. Anywhere. Yeah, there's no courtroom at the border. There's no, and this is a real world problem for like 50% of the world.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we're not all, like I said, here in the U.S. or first world countries. So, so that's one way to think immediately about the impact that this can have globally.
Right.
And when you start thinking, if 50% of the world can have a positive impact from something like this, and it's the only thing that could ever provide this to them. I mean, it's the only technology right now in history and ever has been in human history that can provide the assurance, all right, and the security. So in the example where someone's fleeing and they have Bitcoin is, we all have our mobile phone, right? Or you can have, because you can have wallets on your mobile phone, you can have a cold storage wallet, like a ledger, which again is essentially connected to the internet. It enables you to make a purchase or acquisition of Bitcoin and then hold. So then you're decoupling from the internet and you have it just in this device, right? So if anyone's familiar with Ledger, it kind of looks like a jump drive. And that's the most secure way, by the way, to hold Bitcoin. But
and you take it anywhere with you,
and
no
you
can
take it anywhere with you, right? So now you're
whatever.
the fleeing person.
Fleeing in not always an illegal way. We're saying leaving like oppressed country.
Correct.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
Correct. Yeah. And yeah.
Not fleeing and looting.
Yeah, right.
Right.
And the beautiful thing is because now you're like, oh, wait a second. What happens if the phone gets taken? Okay. What happens if the ledger gets taken? As long as you have your seed phrase, which is when you set up these cryptographic backed technologies, as long as you have that 12-word or sometimes it's a 24-word seed phrase, you can always retrieve that value,